to put my stance out there, right, I think that both parties did wrong. I think that Chris Rock's joke was quite insensitive, considering that Jada has spoken publicly about her experience with alopecia. However, I do also think that what Will did obviously was wrong. You can't condemn them. You can't condone violence. Like, what he did was wrong. No, Halima, you can't. I knew that you were going to say you can't.
Can't you?
And I think that the reaction to his actions, whilst they might seem disproportionate, I don't think it's necessarily that they are disproportionate. I think it's the fact that they're happening to him, and yet there are a load of other actors and associated people who have done way worse things, and yet they have never received no 10-year ban or anything like that.
Oh, I mean, there's definitely a case of double standards, absolutely. Just to give my opinion, do you know what? I probably won't even say much on it because it's radio and I don't want to get in trouble, but I don't share the same opinion as Carlos. I don't believe that violence is always bad.
I mean,
sometimes, genuinely, again, in my opinion, I find that oftentimes a slap is the right answer. Do you know what I mean? Like, one hot slap can fix a lot of things.
Maybe
there's a lot of people.
Self-defense, but not like...
forget that. It's always self-defense, isn't it, then? Because it's kind of like, I'm not advocating going around just slapping people willy-nilly. Like, it's always in retaliation to something, right? And that was in retaliation to him making a really, like, disrespectful and, like, offensive remark about his wife. Like, he was defending his wife in this instance. There's a lot of people who behave the way that they do because you can tell they've never been badded up. And I really think that people who behave like that, one small instance of getting badded up, they will set them right. Honest to God, when I see someone, I can tell who has and who has not been badded up in their life by how they behave. And I really believe oftentimes a hot slap is the right answer. That's just my opinion, though. That's just my opinion.
I can't.
All right, Mr. Pacifist, we know you don't agree.
I'm on Halima's side, I'm sorry.
Oh my God, right. Guys, you can't go around just hitting people.
You can.
No, you can't.
Not unprovoked. If someone is disrespecting you, why can't I hit them?
It's also the fact that, like, it's not even like it was an instant, he's insulted my wife, I'm gonna go and do this. He was literally laughing.
No, but I
saw
think
that she was annoyed and then decided to do it.
But I think, so first and foremost, I think it might even have been a case where he was already laughing because it was part of a set, like Chris Rock was doing like some kind of stand-up. So he was already laughing at the jokes. And then I think it took him maybe a moment to kind of like deep and realise actually what had just been said. That's firstly. And then secondly as well, what is wrong with it? If he personally found it funny, but then he looked at his wife and realised, okay, like she's not on it, she's upset by that. Again, like, this is my opinion, and I know that gender dynamics works different in every relationship. Obviously, he felt it was appropriate in line with his relationship to go out and take that action to defend his wife's honour, right?
But
I'm not, like I said, I'm not advocating just go around and start battering people here and there. But I do think that a lot of people get away with a lot of stuff because they've never been slapped.
I would maybe agree with that. Not that I'm condoning slapping anyone. However, if you can't, how are you meant to control it though? How are you meant to say when it's all right for someone to go and slap someone and when it isn't? You know what I mean? Like, what's the guide by which you follow? It's
just the own human discretion, isn't it? Like, it's not like, don't be silly just because someone, just like, I'm not talking about having, that's not an instance where the joke was all right and Jada just had like thin skin. You know, it's not all right to go around slapping people just because you have thin skin and you're personally offended by absolutely everything. We're talking about things that are actually like, you know, like, it's the things that are a little bit more serious. Like, we're talking about actual material, like, disrespect. And as well, like, just to add a little bit more of a dynamic onto this, like, a lot of the discourse surrounding this, a lot of black women have come forward and been like, they fully support what Will Smith has done, because there is a kind of an element of like misogynoir in this, where, you know, as black women in their experience, they experience it all the time, where black women are the butt of jokes, right? Where they, like, you know, the world makes a butt of black women and men do not defend us enough, in fact. So that is kind of one element of it. You know, if it was just like a kind of surface level, just poking fun, of course, then it's not okay, because then he's just acting on his feelings, right? But when there's something a little bit more to it.
Do you not think that there are a load of other ways? I appreciate the whole, like, getting batted up reference, but do you not think there are other things that he maybe could have done instead of going up there in front of the whole world? I think that's the other thing as well. I think it does maybe show a bit of a sense of audacity to do that.
That was the only thing that was you might argue is a little bit techie. But I'll be honest with you, like, in general, I don't know if I think I have spoken small about this on the show, but the way I think about violence is very different, I think, to like maybe what most people would think about violence. A lot of people kind of then start doing up like respectability politics when it comes to violence, and kind of being like, oh, well, violence is not the answer, and, you know, it's not the right thing, and you should go to blah, 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 blah. I don't think violence is a bad thing. I genuinely don't think it's a bad thing. And again, I'm not talking about senseless, unwarranted violence at all. I'm talking about, it is self-defense, right?
Yeah, I think it's just...
I know, yeah. You know why I'm saying it? Because I know personally in my life, for example, if there was someone who I felt as though it was my duty to protect, and someone had come at them disrespectfully or like damaged them, because a comment like that on the world stage can psychologically like scar someone, right? When they've already come out and spoken about how insecure they are about it. I know for a fact I'm throwing hands. I know for a fact I'm throwing hands, and I'm not going to feel no kind of way about it.
I just think that once you start bringing in violence as a potential way of dealing with things, it does become very hard to actually manage that and decide when it's appropriate, when it's not.
But why is that a worse way of dealing with something than just talking about it?
Because it is, you're inflicting physical pain onto someone. Like, and what this is like, for example. And I know I don't think you're going to agree with me on this, but say if someone like murders someone who's like very close to you, I don't think that, like, for example, like the death penalty, like I don't agree with that, because I'm like, fair enough, someone can be a horrible human being, they can go and like murder loads of people, be the most sadistic person ever, but what gives us the right to then turn around and say, you deserve to die, you deserve to feel this, you deserve to do that, you know what I mean?
I mean, that's a whole nother thing, like a slap and death. I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying, but my thoughts aren't as linear as yours are on this. For example, like, they don't carry on from, you know, the death penalty is another thing I've got. To be honest with the death penalty, I don't even know really where I stand. Like, I'm kind of like, but in terms of like just little slaps, I'm all for it.
Simran.
I don't really have a massive opinion on it, and I think it was so like overdone in terms of like the news, like how you just couldn't escape it anywhere. Yeah. I'm not on a side, but I don't not condone violence.
Yeah. Tactical answer.
Well, this is the thing, like, so what instance would you condone? What instance would you say?
I like the way Halima phrased it, and that if there was someone I felt I had a duty to protect, and they'd been like hurt like that on such a platform, I'm kind of with Will Smith on that. I just have my own reservations about their relationship in general, like, because of like obviously the past with their relationship. Like, why are they still agreeing to interviews, and why are they still saying crazy things about one another on interviews? Like, just stop talking and save your marriage, innit? But
ideologically,
putting that aside, like their drama or whatever, I think in terms of like from a protection point of view, I'm not with it.
Yeah.
But so, you know, but would you be okay doing that, knowing that I know that, like, say if charges were then pressed against you, would you accept them? You know what I mean?
That's an action that you take knowing what the consequences will be, right?